Good morning. We often talk of the dual citizenship, become a citizen of two countries and reap the benefit of being a citizen of both the countries. But the recent episode that occurred in Australia shows that some countries are not so tolerant of dual citizenship. An Australian senator and the core deputy leader of the Green Party, Larissa Waters, had to leave her job, wind up her political career because she happened to be a citizen of Australia and at the same time a Canadian citizen. And when she came to know that she's a Canadian citizen, she never knew about it. She was shocked. Can you believe it? She was born in Canada. But she did not leave that citizenship, and the result was that she had to lose her job, coveted job, as an elected parliamentarian. She was born in Winnipeg, and there's a 116-year-old rule in Australia which qualifies people who are disloyal to Australia from being elected to the federal office. Now, Section 44(1) of the Constitution of Australia very clearly states that any person who owes allegiance, obedience to a foreign power or is subject of a citizen of other country shall not have the rights and privileges of citizenship. This is something really great. As a matter of fact, this Australian incident is not the first time. Earlier, another Green Party member, Scott Ludlam, he was asked to resign because he was also a citizen of New Zealand. And he also held that citizenship without knowledge. Now, on one side, we have that situation. On the other side, we have the Canadian law which permits you to be citizen of two or more countries. You know, Stephen Dion and Tom Mulcair both have dual citizenships. And as a matter of fact, there are more than a dozen Canadian MPs who have the dual citizenship, including 3 MPs who are also citizens of Australia. Now, dual citizenship is always a matter of bilateral relations. If Australia does not permit Canadian citizens to be elected, if they are having dual citizenship, why should Canada allow those people having dual citizenship of Australia to be elected? There's no parity, there's no equality, it's not a level playing field. Now, unfortunately, in some liberal, high-faulten countries, it's habitual to say, well, we want dual citizenship. We promote global citizenship. You remember that Prime Minister Harper had attacked Michael Ignatieff for saying visiting because he was an American citizen as well. On the other hand, look at the Canadian Green Party leader Elizabeth May. She was an American citizen as well. But when she wanted to come to politics, she left her citizenship and became a sole citizen of Canada. And in 1978, she became Canadian citizen, and now she is strictly Canadian. And the US law is that the moment you leave US citizenship, you have no rights. Now, why is it that people should have dual citizenship? This is $1 million question. We always object to bigamy. A husband cannot have two wives. Well, I'm not talking of Islam, where you are permitted to have four wives, but in Canada, when they come, they cannot have two wives. Bigamy is a crime here in this country. It's going to be a crime in other countries as well, but at present, you cannot have polygamy or bigamy, polyandry, having more than one husband. And the plea is that you cannot do justice to both the wives or both the husbands. Then why have bigamy? So by dual citizenship. If not bigamy, why dual citizenship? Can you be loyal to two countries? And we have seen the consequences of dual citizenship when the Lebanon crisis took place. Canada had to spend millions and millions of dollars to bring those people back. Now look at the tragedy. Tragedy for the Canadian taxpayer. Those people acquired Canadian citizenship and then went back to Lebanon to carry on their lucrative businesses. They were keeping their Canadian citizenship for two reasons. A, they could have the old age pensions when they come back, enjoy all the benefits of health services, and come back as retired people, get pension from that fund paid by the Canadian taxpayer who worked here. So they were making benefit from the both sides. The war took place, and since they were Canadian citizens as well, they were Lebanese as well, but they happened to be Canadians as well, so Canada had to rescue them. And Canada spent millions and millions of dollars. Same happened in Iran. We had one person who was a Canadian and Iranian citizen. She went to Iran, was arrested for espionage, and Canada again spent hundreds of thousands of dollars to save that person. Why? If you have Canadian citizenship, then you are entitled to all the privileges of being a Canadian. You have a right to call upon the government to help you in time of need. Maybe you are visiting that place. Yes, you should be helped to come back to the country. But if you have made that country practically your home, keeping your citizenship of Canada as an insurance, why should a Canadian taxpayer be taxed for that purpose? Secondly, suppose there's a war and both countries want to draft you to their armed forces. You will go to which country? Say you are a Canadian and you join a country which is at war with Canada. Recent case, ISIS, more than 180 persons from Canada have gone there. Actually, they have become traitors. They have become traitors the same way Omar Khadr was, because of his made grenades, 75 Canadian lives were lost or injured. So they should be treated as enemies, but being Canadian citizens, they might get millions of dollars as compensation. On the specious pleas, that can always be found by the politicians. It's not difficult to find the pleas and justifications. But the fact remains that they are going to be traitors at least to one country. In the recent Trump debate, which is raging in USA about the Russian collusion, the collusion is not proved. But one thing is proved, there are at least hundreds of Russians who have become American citizens and are carrying on spying activities. Now, since they are American citizens, they have the right to move anywhere. So they get the information and send it to Russia. And Russia is benefiting. If Russia had not permitted dual citizenship, or America had not permitted them to hold dual citizenship, now look at it, another aspect. You can be an American citizen, and the moment you leave America, you continue to have the benefits unless you lose it. Until you hold an office in that country. So an American comes to Canada and gets a job in Canada, a government job, then he loses the office. But otherwise, he can come and do business there and remain a Canadian citizen and an American citizen. So a Russian citizen remains a Russian citizen and also comes to America, does job there and becomes an American citizen. So has the benefit of both the countries and is a spy. So he's a traitor to the country. If America had the rule that you cannot be a citizen of two countries, this anomaly could have been avoided. Multiple citizenships, and we have seen some cases where people are not citizens of one or two countries, are dual, there are multiple citizenships. Benin Republic, Barbados, St. Kitts, St. Vincent. So they make these countries as safe havens from taxation purpose, get the benefit from all the countries, and who suffers? A law-abiding citizen who pays taxes. So Canadian law is very curious. Here, we can have citizens who have dual citizenship. They can go and work there, and there was recently a case that an Canadian citizen contested the election for being president of an African country. How amazing! A Canadian becoming president of a new country, of a different country. The whole thing smacks of dishonesty. It stinks. Loyalty cannot be divided. Let's be very clear about it. It's an old proverb that a dog cannot serve two masters. But look at the anomaly here. Now, Australia has been very sensible, I would say, that they said, no, if you are a foreign citizen, you have no right to hold an elected office for the simple reason. How can you be loyal to the country? How can you think in the interest of your country which you have adopted? Your sympathies may lie somewhere. As a matter of fact, in USA, you cannot become the president. You can have any office, but you cannot become the president unless you are a born American. As a matter of fact, since most of the countries are the countries of immigrant, I would say the first condition of the immigration should be that you relinquish all interest and all citizenships. Here people come from different countries and retain their citizenship. They don't renounce it. Can get a Canadian passport? And I've seen hundreds of them. As a matter of fact, they constitute the fifth column. I know it's going to be, people are going to say I'm being very harsh, but that's a reality. The reality is that you cannot be honest if you are having the benefit of citizenship from two countries. And the global citizen is nice to say. I know when I moved to Minnesville, the newspaper said, a citizen of the world makes Minnesville his home. There was a big write-up. Yes, I'm a citizen of the world that because I think of the world as my family. But my primary loyalty, my primary obligation is to the country that is Canada. When I became a Canadian citizen, the first thing I did was to renounce Indian citizenship. I did not want to be caught in the quandary of being disloyal to one country. I love India. Even today I love India. But when I leave India, then I have no right to enjoy the benefits of being a citizen of that country. And what holds true for me is for everybody. And it's good for the countries to ensure that the dual citizenship is something which is an economic burden, which is a political liability, and which is a security blunder, should be wiped off. The constitutional change should be there, that a citizen, you cannot be citizen of two countries. The way the civil law is, you cannot be a bigamist. Dual citizenship is a different form of bigamy. Let's finish it once for all. Thank you.